Live.
रत्नाकराधौतपदां हिमालये किरीटिनीं ब्रह्मराजश्रीरत्नाढ्यां वन्दे भारतमातरम्. Namaste. Wishing all our viewers a very happy Independence Day. On this day, let us remember our brave heroes and celebrate the freedom that they fought for us. Welcome to day 15 of Disha MyBHARAT student activities programs. Here, several students talk about freedom fighters and the greatness of our country. The National Education Policy 2020 has become a ray of hope towards a brighter future for Bharat by Indianizing the education system. Disha Bharat conducted an year-long online program called Vikasana to bring the vision of NEP to action in universities across the country. Disha Bharat also proposes to conduct faculty development programs to educate the educators about the important aspects of NEP, the challenges in implementing, and the way forward. Disha Bharat would be facilitating this by conducting workshops, seminars, credit courses on Indian knowledge systems, values, skills, and we believe this would be a game changer in the days to come. Today, the first speaker is Nikita Thakur from Garvare College of Commerce, Pune. She is speaking about Makers of Modern India, Sister Nivedita. Over to you, Nikita.
My name is Nikita Thakur and I am from Garware College of Commerce and I am studying in SYBBA and I am gonna talk about Sister Nivedita. So Sister Nivedita was born on 13 October 1911. She was an Irish teacher, author, social activist, school founder and disciple of Swami Vivekananda. She spent her childhood and early youth in Ireland. She was engaged to marry a Welsh youth but he died soon after their engagement. Sister Nivedita met Swami Vivekananda in 1895 in London and travelled to Calcutta, India in 1898. Swami Vivekananda gave her the name Nivedita when he initiated her into the vow of Brahmacharya on 25 March 1898. In November 1898, she opened a girls' school in the Bagh Bazar area of North Calcutta. She wanted to educate girls who were deprived of even basic education. During the plague epidemic in Calcutta in 1899, Nivedita nursed and took care of the poor patients. Nivedita had close associations with the newly established Ramakrishna Mission. Because of her active contribution in the field of Indian nationalism, she had to publicly dissociate herself from the activities of the Ramakrishna Mission under the President Swami Brahmananda. This had to be done in order to avoid their persecution at the hands of British authorities in India. She was very close to Sarda Devi, the wife of Ramakrishna, and one of the major influences behind Ramakrishna Mission. She died on 13 October 1911 in Darjeeling. Nivedita remained one of the closest associates of Sarda Devi. On 13 November 1898, the Holy Mother Sarda Devi came to open Nivedita's newly founded school. After worshipping Ramakrishna, she consecrated the school and blessed it, saying, I pray that the blessings of the Divine Mother may be upon the school and the girls trained from the school may become ideal girls. Nivedita was delighted and recorded her feelings later as, I cannot imagine a grander omen than her blessings, spoken over the educated Hindu womanhood of the future. The first photograph of Sarda Devi was taken at Nivedita's house. Nivedita wrote in a letter to her friend Nell Hammond about Sarda Devi after her first few meetings with her. She really is, under the simplest, most unamusing guise, one of the strongest and greatest of women. An excerpt is provided here from the Gospel of Holy Mother, where Sarda Devi's impressions about Nivedita are captured vividly. The main reason why Swamiji invited Nivedita to India was to spread education to the women of the country. This is why when Nivedita informed Vivekananda about her planning, he felt very excited. He organized a meeting at Balaram Bose's house on this issue. Many devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, including Mahendranath Gupta, popularly known as Sri M, the chronicler of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Suresh Datta, Har Mohan, etc., attended this meeting. In this meeting, Nivedita explained her plan of the proposed school and requested everyone to send their girls to the school to study. During her speech, Vivekananda entered the room and took a seat behind everyone. Nivedita did not notice it. But when Nivedita appealed to collect girl students for the school, she suddenly discovered Vivekananda in the room pushing others and prompting, "Yeah, get up, get up. It's not good enough to just become girls, fathers. All of you must cooperate in the matter of their education as per national ideals. Stand up and commit. Reply to her appeal. Say, we all agree we shall send our girls to you," but no one stood up to support Nivedita's proposal. Finally, Vivekananda forced Har Mohan to agree to the proposal, and on behalf of Har Mohan, Vivekananda promised to send these girls to the school. On 13 November 1898, on the day of Kali Puja at 16 Bospara Lane in the Bagh Bazar area of North Calcutta, she started the school. The school was inaugurated by Sarda Devi in the presence of Swami Vivekananda and some of the other disciples of Ramakrishna. Sarda Devi blessed and prayed for the school. Nivedita went from home to home in educating girls, many of whom were in pitiable condition owing to the socio-economic condition of every 20th century India. In many cases, she encountered refusal from the male members of the girl's family. Nivedita had widows and adult women amongst her students. She taught sewing, elementary rules of hygiene, nursing, etc., apart from regular courses. Collecting money for the school was not an easy task. She had to earn money from her writings and giving lectures, and later she spent all to meet the expenses of the school. She took part in altruistic activities. She worked to improve the lives of Indian women of all castes. During the outbreak of a plague epidemic in Calcutta in 1899, Nivedita nursed and took care of the patients, cleaned rubbish from the area, and inspired and motivated many youths to render voluntary service. She inserted appeals for help in the English newspaper and requested for financial support for her plague relief activities. She also organized the day-to-day activities, inspected the work, and personally handed over the written instructions from the preventive measures by moving around. She was a friend to many intellectuals and artists in the Bengali community, including Rabindranath Tagore, Jagdish Chandra Bose, Abala Bose, and Abindranath Tagore. Later, she took up the cause of Indian independence. Sri Aurobindo was one of her friends as well. Cultivation of Indian culture. She took an active interest in promoting Indian history, culture, and science. She actively encouraged Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, the Indian scientist and philosopher, to pursue original scientific research and helped him financially as well in getting due recognition when he was faced with an indifferent attitude from the colonial government. Bose, whom she called Khoka or the Little One in Bengali, and his wife Abala Bose were in very close terms with her. Keeping in view Nivedita's contribution to the scientific research work of Jagdish Chandra Rabindranath Tagore said, in the day of his success, Jagdish gained an invaluable energizer and helper in Sister Nivedita. And in any record of his life's work, her name must be given in a place of honor. Sister Nivedita was one of the important influences on Jagdish Chandra Bose. She supported him by organizing the financial support and editing his manuscripts and made sure that Bose was able to continue with and share his work. This was all about Sister Nivedita. She was a very great personality and she had done a very great work in India. She helped poor people and she educated and inspired many women throughout the nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikita, for giving a very clear and a concise biography of what Sister Nivedita did, her contributions to the nation. And indeed, she was described as Lokamata by Rabindranath Tagore. She was described as a lioness by Swami Vivekananda, and Agniksha or the flame of fire by Sri Aurobindo. And definitely, she has been a sister to all the people of India and she has uplifted so many people. Thank you so much for the wonderful rendition. Next, we move on. We now have Parth Prashant Patel from VIT College. He's doing his BTech and he's now going to speak on Makers of Modern India, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Over to you, Parth Prashant.
Namaste. Today I would be talking about Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, also popularly known as Baba Saheb, a man with millions of followers not just in India but all over the world. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was an Indian jurist, an economist, a social reformer, a political leader, and what not. But at maximum point, he was considered a family member of each and every family of India. The colonial India had very few minds which started to decolonize the ideology. And surely Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar was one of that. He was the chairperson of the drafting committee, which drafted the Constitution of India. Talking about the alma mater of Dr. Baba Saheb, he had 4 doctorates. He had overall 32 degrees. And yeah, he was the first to have a degree in a PhD in economics in the whole South Asia. Pretty proud moment for India. On 14th April, not in India but in many other countries, it's celebrated as the International Equality Day. Yeah, 14th April is the day remarked as the birth anniversary of Sri Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He gave his slogan that be educated, be organized and be agitated so that no one can rule you or no one can harm you. He was the principal architect of the Constitution, which still stays true to give justice to each and every citizen after more than 75 years of independence also. When we talk about qualities of Dr. Baba Saheb, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar was a writer, was a philosopher, was an economist, was a social reformer, was a great leader, was a politician, and what not. But this all qualities lies behind when he was the most educated and the #1 scholar of the world. In many countries, he is considered as the most scholar citizen of this world. It's a pride for India that a citizen of India who started his education, early education in India, rather went away from India to get oneself highly educated to succeed India as a great republic. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar was the name.
Yes, thank you so much, Parth Prashant, for again showcasing the greatness of the maker of our Constitution. Next, we have a topic about songs that inspired our freedom struggle. To render this, we have Chirag Kajale. He is from Joshi Badekar College from Mumbai. Over to you, Chirag.
Namaskar everyone. So today I got an opportunity to talk about Veer Savarkar's song poem Sagara Pran Tarmarla. So I have written a bit about what I feel about this song, or what this song is about, or my feelings about this song. So I think the song has a lot of complexity and touches to it, as it is written in a foreign land where Savarkar was desperately missing his motherland, was desperately waiting for him to be reunited with his motherland when he was facing a sentence at Kalapani in Andaman. So the song tries to bring together his love for the country and is an ode by a child to his mother when they are not united. So the song paints a vivid picture of Veer Savarkar's affection for the India and for the land that nurtured him, gave him a vision for the country's future, despite witnessing such diversity and such wonders all around the world, because he was also in London for some time, he was also in Europe for some time. So even though he faced a lot of diversity in those lands, but he still wanted to be reunited with his country, with his homeland soil. So it is very beautifully captured in this verse. I'm reading a translated version. In the experience of the world, I became diverse, but your embrace holds more power. I will leave everything behind and return to you swiftly. The song is also a mirror for a lot of pains and sufferings that Veer Savarkar went through. It symbolizes a lot like a caged parrot or a deer trapped in a snare. So the song title Sagara Pran Tarmara, or the O Ocean, my life's miserable, or my life is uncertain, talks echoes a lot about that. Moreover, the song celebrates India's diversity. The song says that how beautiful India is. The song talks about India's vividness. In the line, "You are a beloved to me as a star among the constellations of the sky. My Bharat Bhumi's the shining star." This tells us a lot about Veer Savarkar itself, because this man who was out there in London trying to free his country from the clutches of the British, but his country was always in his heart. He never thought that he was leaving his country behind, even when he was in Britain. In the amidst of this emotions, the song also acknowledges the complexities in Veer Savarkar's life, the struggles that he faced, the pursuit that he went through for the independence of the country. Even though a lot of people don't talk about this a lot, Veer Savarkar went through a lot of troubles for the freedom of this country. So in this line where he says, "Even like a helpless mother, got lost in the foreign lands. How difficult it is, Augustus, O foreign land." So here he talks about how difficult it is to live in a foreign land where it is very difficult to not see your own country, but you have to stay in a foreign land so that you can go ahead and help your country in some way or the other. This reveals his inner turmoil, his inner new identity, which was always yearning for his true home. Sagara Prantarmala serves as a beautiful tribute to Veer Savarkar's unbreakable bond with India, land that he loves unconditionally, and the longing he felt for his motherland throughout his life. It signifies an eternal connection in his life and has roots of unwavering commitment for the Indian freedom struggle. As we listen to this soul-strengthening song, it reminds us of the legacy of Veer Savarkar. It reminds us of the legacy of every freedom fighter who went out of India to help India, to whether it be Netaji Bose, who went to Japan for earning help, whether it be the India House freedom fighters who went out there for helping India from outside. It tells us how difficult it has been for those people who were living outside India but working day and night for the freedom of India. So I feel this song could also be a very good message for people who leave India and and go out and settle there. For them, don't their pran tarmara isn't their life any time miserable? Don't they miss their motherland? So I feel this song is a very good question to people who leave their country and go out there and settle. So thank you so much once again, everyone, for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Chirag. Definitely, the role of Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar in India's freedom struggle cannot be forgotten. In fact, our former Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, had described Savarkar through his poetry. He said, Savarkar mane tej, Savarkar mane tyag, Savarkar mane tap, which means Savarkar stands for speed, it stands for sacrifice, it stands for meditation, and that is the immense contribution of Savarkar for our freedom struggle. With this, we move on to the next speaker. Next, we have Heroes of Freedom Struggle, Chandan M. Nayak from MES College of Arts, Commerce and Science is going to be speaking on this. Over to you, Chandan.
Namaste, I am Chandan M. Nayak. Before starting off, I would like to thank Disha Bharat for giving me this wonderful opportunity on speaking on the revolutionary ideas of Veer Savarkar. Veer Savarkar, or Swatantriya Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, that people popularly called him, was a political thinker, social reformer, writer, poet, barrister, and a freedom fighter. Veer Savarkar is that one central figure of Indian history whose ideas and ideologies have been shadowed in the textbooks of Indian history. Probably most of us are not even aware of the fact that it was Veer Savarkar who for the first time advocated for complete independence, that is Purna Swaraj. Probably we are not aware of the fact that it was Veer Savarkar who for the first time recognized 1857's uprising as the first war of Indian independence, and also wrote a book on it called as the First War of Indian Independence of 1857. And this book went on to become a guidebook for revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, and even Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. The history textbooks do not tell us about the secret society that Veer Savarkar formed with his brother Ganesh Damodar Savarkar, known as Mitra Mela, in 1899 at a very young age, which later came to be known as Abhinava Bharat Society. The history textbooks do not tell us about the fact that Veer Savarkar was a self-proclaimed atheist, and Veer Savarkar believed that all the religions are the same and all the religions must come together in order to form a Akhand Bharat, that is United India, an Akhand Bharat that we are speaking of today. Probably most of us are not aware of the fact that Veer Savarkar, from the time of his teenage, when he joined the college, he used to actively take part in political movements, freedom struggle, and used to organize students to spread his revolutionary ideas through his exceptional oratory and writing skills. We are probably not aware of the fact that it was Veer Savarkar, when he was in London in the own land of the Britishers, when he lived in India House, and along with Madam Bikaji Kama, he formed the Free India Society, through which he used to organize Indian students in the own land of Britishers to fight against the oppressive rule of the Britishers and the British government, to organize and inspire Indian students to fight for India's independence through revolution. We are not very much aware of these facts because, one, we have not been taught about these facts. The other can be we have not even had the maturity to read his poems or to read about the life of such unsung heroes of the Indian history. And when it comes to Veer Savarkar, the very central thing that revolves around his personality is about mercy petitions that people speak. That Veer Savarkar wrote mercy petitions to the British government to come out of the prison. When Veer Savarkar was revolting against the Morley Minto reforms, he was put to Kala Pani for several years for rigorous prison. Veer Savarkar wrote mercy petitions, all of us know this. Veer Savarkar was very clear of the fact that if he has to contribute to the motherland, if he has to become an asset to the motherland, then he will have to come out of there to fight for the freedom of the nation. He was very clear that staying in the prison, he will not be able to do anything. He will not be able to contribute actively for India's freedom struggle. This was the central idea behind his petitions. And we do not even speak about the petitions that he wrote on the behalf of his own prisoners who were there with him there. Veer Savarkar's fellow prisoners were illiterates who did not know how to read or write. he also wrote petitions on behalf of them in their names to the British government. And none of us speak about this. Not much of us are even aware about this. All that we speak is just about the mercy petitions. Before everything, we need to understand that Veer Savarkar was a poet. And just like how, in order to understand a poem, there is a certain level of maturity that is required. In order to understand the life of Veer Savarkar, there is the same level of maturity that is required to understand his ideas, to understand his revolutionary ideologies. Veer Savarkar had so much courage and bravery that staying in London, he used to influence the youth in India and organize them to fight against the suppressing rule of the Britishers. This was the kind of patriotism and nationalism that heroes like Veer Savarkar had. We spoke of mercy petitions. We spoke about his poems. Veer Savarkar, when he was out of the prison, he was banned from taking part in all the political activities. He was banned from making speeches. And in 1963, after the death of his wife, Veer Savarkar gave up on all the medicines, gave up on water and food, because Veer Savarkar believed that if one is no longer useful to the motherland, then giving up life is better than waiting for death. Veer Savarkar says, our motherland, sacrifice to you is like life, and living without you is like death. These were the exact lines of Veer Savarkar. But unfortunately, it is very disheartening that we are not aware or thought about these revolutionary ideas and these characters of the unsung heroes of the Indian national movement. My dear sisters and brothers, the place, India House, where Veer Savarkar lived in London, today has a board that reads that Veer Savarkar, a patriot and a philosopher, once lived here. The place in Andaman and Nicobar in Kalapani, where Veer Savarkar spent several years in the prison for revolting against the Morley Minto reforms, the same Andaman and Nicobar's airport today is named after Veer Savarkar. My dear brothers and sisters, since all of us have spoken about his ideologies, as all of us have spoken about his ideas and poems, it is important for us to realize the fact that we need to read about such heroes. We need to read about such personalities. We need to inculcate the kind of personality that they had. Today, all of us are speaking about Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav. Our Honorable Prime Minister Modi speaks about Vision 2047, when India will be celebrating 100 years of independence. He gave us the 5 Panch Prans, and one of the Pran is taking pride in the heritage legacy of India, and taking pride in those freedom fighters, in those social reformers who fought bravely for India's independence. In order to achieve the goal that we have set for ourselves as the youth of the Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav, as the youth of the Amrit Kal, we need to start inculcating the ideas that these unsung heroes put forward. We need to understand that it is very important for us to research, to read about their ideas and inculcate the kind of character that they had. If this is going to be our goal, then there is no doubt that India will stand tomorrow as the Vishwaguru Bharat. We speak about New India, we speak about modern India, we speak about urbanization and modernization. Veer Savarkar's ideas of modernity, his ideas of cultivation of scientific temper, his ideas of embracing the technological tools, his ideas of socio-religious reforms continue to be relevant even to this day in building a new India. This was the kind of far-sightedness that Swatantriya Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar had. Through this platform, my dear sisters and brothers, I call upon each one of you from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, to inculcate, to imbibe the qualities, the traits, the ideas of revolution that these unsung heroes like Veer Savarkar had. All of us today speak about building a vibrant nation. We speak about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Veer Savarkar, during those times in his college days, himself spoke about the new era of machines. Veer Savarkar spoke about embracing the technology. Veer Savarkar spoke about opposing the caste-based discrimination. Veer Savarkar advocated the very fact that untouchability is a sin and fought against untouchability. This was the kind of mindset that Veer Savarkar had. But it is so very unfortunate that we are not aware of these facts. But what we can do is that through platforms like this, through speeches like this, through competitions, through our schools, through our colleges, or through a lot of social media platforms, we can spread awareness. The responsibility is in our hands today to speak about the ideas of these unsung heroes. The responsibility is in our hands today to inculcate the kind of personality that they wanted us to inculcate, the kind of personality that Swami Vivekananda wanted to inculcate in us, the kind of youths that Veer Savarkar wanted to form, the kind of ideas that Bhagat Singh had, the kind of ideas that Chandrasekhar Azad had, the kind of personality that Subhash Chandra Bose had. And it becomes our responsibility because it lies on our shoulders today that we will be the future of India tomorrow. You and I will be politicians tomorrow. You and I will be bureaucrats tomorrow. You and I will be policy makers tomorrow. And when we work, when we have stepped down to contribute for the nation, every single drop of our sweat and blood must only be dedicated to our motherland. If this is the kind of personality that we can inculcate in us, if this is the kind of patriotism and nationalism that we can build upon us, then I am very sure that the next 20-30 years is going to be the Indian age. The next 20-30 years we will all be successful in building India as a Vishwaguru Bharat. So I call upon the youth today, I call upon all of you to spread awareness, to speak, to start a conversation about unsung heroes like Veer Savarkar. These were few things that I had to speak about Swatantriya Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. I once again thank Disha Bharat for giving me this amazing opportunity, and I thank all of you for patiently listening to me. Hope I was successful in speaking about the revolutionary ideas and ideologies of Swatantriya Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Bharat Mata ki Jai, Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandan, for that enthusiastic way of putting together the life of Veer Savarkar. The patriotism and the want of our youth to contribute to the nation is shown through in your speech. Definitely, with students like you and all others who have been part of this program, the idea of making our nation great once again is coming up. And definitely the Amrit Kal is on its way, and we as Bharat are definitely going to become Vishwaguru. I thank once again all our speakers, Nikita Thakur from Garware College, Parth Prashant from BIT, Chirag Kajale from Joshi Badekar College, and Chandan M. Nayak from MES College of Arts, Commerce and Science for giving us your time and elucidating about the greatness of our freedom fighters and our country. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's student program. I would also request all of you to join today's evening program at 5 o'clock. We have the MyBHARAT talk. We have the valedictory address by Dr. Manmohan Vaidyaji. He is the Joint General Secretary of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. We request all of you to join through the Disha Bharat Facebook page, and we thank all of you for being part of today's program. I wish everyone once again a very happy Independence Day, and Jai Hind. Thank you and Vande Mataram.